Live on Twitter.
And,
We're live.
We are live, of course, gents. But we'll give our raving fans a few minutes to join us, obviously. Nick, I got to say, mate, before we kick into it, you are looking sharp as a tack. You look good,
Thanks,
brother.
Nathan. No, thank you so much. I look good. I feel good. I am good. It's good to be here. Shane, how are you looking?
Yeah, look, I'm ready. Just got my little Queensland hat on. I'm like a southerner at the Tweed, ready to get across the border and attack our fish. I can't wait. Yeah, welcome. Come one, come all. It's very exciting to have you crossing the border into our lovely state.
All right, we go into politics, so I'm sure we'll delve in there. But ladies and gents, welcome to episode 4. 4 to the floor. I aptly named this one because COVID's going to hit us all. We're going to hit the floor. But anyway, lovely to join you all. Nick, you look sensational. Shane, always a pleasure. Gentlemen, welcome. Nick, a lot's been said, mate. First and foremost, what's the most exciting thing going on in your world, brother?
So what am I up and about this week, Nathan? Yes, great segue. That's, geez, we're good. Hello to all of our viewers. Hello to all of our viewers across the Eastern European region. And they probably won't get what I'm up and about, but I'm up and about one of the most influential people in my time on the planet. Is celebrating his 71st birthday today, the one and only John Farnham.
Oh,
so I'm up and about.
Good John.
Oh, it's outstanding. And I got a bit pensive, bit reflective today, thinking I've probably seen him upwards of 40 times live. Will I get to see him again? Don't know. I hope I do, because the last time I saw him was under dubious conditions with Shane present. So I'm hoping I can not have Shane with me and see him in more comfort. What about you, Shane? What are you up and about this week?
Actually, before we jump in there, hang
of
on.
course.
Sorry.
Nick,
sorry.
You know what I just realised, mate? I've never seen the great man with yourself. So next time he goes around again, just grab another couple of tickets, make it just the one, and give Doggy a call. But
Absolutely.
Shane, what's happening, mate?
Mate, I'm up and about the continuation. I'm very AFL centric. I love my footy, but I'm prepared. I'm ready. I'm accepting of a season which is going to be full of ups and downs. It's going to be topsy-turvy. It's going to be all over the joint. But I'm so happy just to have footy with us throughout the week, Thursday through Sunday. It's a powerful thing. It brings people together. It tears people apart. But overall, it's such a uniting experience to have that as our common medium. So I'm sure we're going to cover off on it pretty early about the immediate future of our season. But damn, it's exciting. And even though there are some terrible games, it's better than a summer of cricket. So that's what I'm up and about. Nathan, and yourself?
Better than a summer of cricket. Virat Kohli will be disappointed. But what am I up and about? I'm up and about dry cough medicine mixture. I'm fighting this bloody cough. It's fucking annoying. But outside of that, I think I'll join your sentiments. I'm keen. I'm up and about the footy myself. So we'll dive straight in then. The games haven't been, I guess, at the pinnacle of the aesthetic appeal of the sport, I guess one would say. But Shane, you brought it up. Alistair Clarkson went in. But, a lot of narrative around, I guess, the lack of free-flowing football, the lack of free kicks surrounding tackles. I think that needs to be addressed one way or another. And you've got a handful of teams that are finding a way to play expansive football, and St Kilda being one of them, Port being another, and probably the Lions and my boys, the Gold Coast Suns. They're Gold Coast trying, Brisbane probably executing a little bit more. But funnily enough, those teams that are managing to play some expansive football find themselves at the right end of the ladder very early on. So,
yep.
Shane, as you pointed out, mate, a lot has been said. What's your thoughts at the moment? A lot of doomsdayers, obviously, but I wouldn't say that we're still early in the season. I think the whole idea of being early and teams getting away with a couple of losses is well and truly over. Richmond, wake up. But, Shane, what's your thoughts and everything, mate?
Mate, I find it difficult to comprehend it. It's sort of like every year after, say, round 4 or 5, there's just this thing in the AFL game that has to be a bugbear. There's so many negative people around. We all know that, but the AFL media just love to latch onto something. In the past 5 or 6 years, consistently, it's been rules, it's been congestion, it's been those sorts of things. So, but it's exciting that the attacking teams are getting results. Absolutely. I think one of the bigger case studies over the past couple of years have been Essendon, who were all out attack, crazy attack, and run from the half-back line and score at all costs. But there are teams that have tempered that. The Saints are going well. Port Adelaide have a really stylish brand of footy. Your boys, the Suns, getting on the outside and using the footy down the wings and beyond. So, look, I'm happy with it. I'm happy for the defensive teams to get defeated by the attacking teams, hopefully. But look, Clarkson certainly has some interesting viewpoints, and he's been sort of lambasted in the media for coming out. He's allowed to. He's got more runs on the board than most. So let's have the conversation, but let's still focus on the good things about our game, because there's plenty of them.
And rightfully so. I think it's just doomsdays. It's just media. It's clickbait. We touched on this in the Pontius episode for all you hardcore fans. But Nick, what are your thoughts as far as where is the season going? In our 30-second catch up, I giggle because I think people think we're joking when we're like, oh shit, it's 7:30. We best get on. What do you want to talk about, boys? But the Queensland government obviously holding a lot of power over how at least the next month's minimum football could look like. Where are you with everything, mate? As you pointed out 2.5 minutes ago, we don't have much clarity of what the season looks like at all. So what's your thoughts on everything, brother?
There's not much clarity in anything at the moment, and that's, I guess, we're just three blokes who just love the game. We're not, involved at the highest level to know what conversations are happening behind the scenes, and you really do hope those conversations are transparent and fluid and all the big buzzwords that the AFL keep spinning. But the thing that concerns me, and we mentioned this in our 2-minute pre-show, is it that beyond Sunday evening, there's no fixture. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what part of the country we're in. And for a $1 billion industry to not have certainty beyond Sunday publicly is a real concern. You've got to be concerned. If you're a paid up member, you're concerned. You're passionate about the game, you're concerned. You're a sponsor, you're concerned. Now, I'm sure that the right people are in the positions to make decisions, but probably with the latest sort of hit in Victoria, this is the least confident I've been. And I'm talking, go back to when they called it off at the end of round 1. This is the least confident I've been about where the season's headed, because, you start to get players who have families and things that don't want to go to hubs. It's going to be compromised. And that's what the AFL didn't want to have. The asterisk was going to be a positive thing. It's the great unknown in summary, isn't it?
Can I jump in there, Nico and Barndog? Sorry, just to add I don't mind. I find it quite exciting at the moment, particularly around the Saints. So the Saints and Carlton found out very late that they've got the 5-day turnaround only. I think it probably reduces a little bit of the impact of that sort of extra analysis, that impossible analysis on the previous opponent or the forthcoming opponent, where the coach will go there with his assistant coaches on a Sunday, watch them play, write the notes, come up with some sort of fan-dazzled way to actually shut down their way of approaching it. I hope it actually creates a little bit of freedom in the way that these teams play without that bit of...
I'm hitting you, Shane. I know exactly what you're saying here, but were they too complacent in the AFL in going... thinking that we were on the other side of the worst part of COVID in going to a traditional Thursday to Sunday fixture? When we're playing 16-minute quarters, it's short and sharp. Why haven't we seen teams play 7 or 8 games already? why hasn't that happened? That we've just gone, we might the second wave is coming. Well, it's not really a second wave. It's just a couple of hundred people in Victoria that are refusing to be tested in the northern suburbs, but it's enough to have Palachuk go berserk and have Daniel Andrews start to just block off certain areas. Victoria will almost certainly go back to a full lockdown across the board. And then you've got South Australia and Western Australia, probably Western Australia more to a point with grandstanding about how things were to be done. South Australia were a bit more conservative, and now they're thinking, oh, geez, this is awkward. It's just messy. We could have seen 7 or 8 games played already. I think they've missed a trick. I haven't heard anyone who gets paid 6 figures to do what we're doing for free comment on that at all. Why haven't we seen more games played?
The sample's coming tomorrow night, mate. This is the 5-day turnaround. Is happening tomorrow night. I would imagine that the AFL is going to be looking at that fairly closely to see how the players are backed up. For example, like Zach Jones had hamstring soreness, so he hasn't pulled up. But if you can do it in 5 days, will there be another sample in the next week of a 4-day turnaround? That was the reason for the 16 minutes.
4 or 5 day turnaround.
Well, let's make it happen. I want 21 days of continuous footy like the Big Bash leading into Christmas. Bring it on. I'm ready.
Yeah, back to back.
Absolutely.
I'm sick of watching replays of Big Brother to find out last night they're going to lockdown. COVID has just hit Big Brother. I can't believe it. Where's Gretel? Where's Gretel and hot dogs?
Where's our plate? Is that plate coming? I'm ready.
Where's that talking fish? The pommy talking fish. What's going on?
Jesus. You know what I'm really interested to see? We've had all this talk from the western side of the country, and look, I don't envy what they're having to go through. Not seeing their family, loved ones, all that kind of stuff. When I kind of first heard the talk that was coming from not just the Premier, but obviously a couple of the players and coaches, I was pretty dismissive of it. I thought, you pay me that amount of money, mate, I'll spend 3 years abroad. But look, that was probably wrong of myself, to be fair. But what is going to be interesting now is there's talk of, every Victorian team not being able to go back to Victoria. They're going to be outside the state inside of 3 weeks, potentially, and with no end date in sight. So the shoe will be reversed. And I'm very intrigued to see how the Victorian team specifically are going to handle the assignment given to them. So, I mean, and the other side of the coin as well is Gold Coast, my boys, and Brisbane, they've had a pretty decent start to the season, coinciding with a few games at home. So I think Gold Coast will be on the road for a little bit now. So it's a good test for them. But Nick, do you think any of the Victorian sides are going to struggle as much as we've seen West Coast?
As I delve into that huge question regarding, more than what's 10 out of 18, the greater majority of the clubs in the competition, just check that YouTube links live for us there, Nathan. I think that there's going to be some Victorian teams, I think it shows the heavy lifting, and that's the words that have been used by the Western Australian and South Australian clubs, the heavy lifting they have done in getting the competition started. The Victorian teams are potentially, and I know from a rugby league point of view, the Melbourne Storm have said that they believe they'll be at the Sunshine Coast. They'll be based there for the remainder of the season. So they're in Victoria. There's 10 Victorian clubs. The only thing that would potentially be different with the AFL would be if the clubs went into a hub inside Victoria. So work with me on this. If the clubs go into a hub inside Victoria and then play each other, there's a portion of time then, but I guess you've got the 2-week quarantine going in and out everywhere else. So that's where there's going to be buys. Don't lock in any grand final date. Don't lock in any grand final team because the Suns have had a very good start to the year playing at Metricon, but where are they headed next? They go down to Geelong this week and then maybe bounce up to New South Wales for a couple of weeks and then where? Who knows? Shane said it's exciting.
It's exciting, absolutely. The VFL, Nick. The VFL's coming back. There's collars on jumpers. It's healthy. Why don't we?
Concerning.
It is concerning, absolutely. But we've got 10 teams who are going to isolate. Put them at Telstra Dome or Etihad or whatever it's called now. We've got 8 interstaters. Go away and do your thing and play some sort of round robin competition in Queensland. let's all come together. The top 4 Victorian sides at the end of the round robin sorted out, and the top 4 interstate teams sorted out. So we've got to be. Everyone's kept talking agility and adaptability and all this sort of stuff, but it's a big machine. They'll find a way. They always do, and I'm excited for it.
There's a great place down in the Mornington Peninsula that Harold Holt's been in an isolation hub for many decades. Maybe the club should look into that. Jeez, are we on?
Sorry,
we still live?
Yeah, just checking out this. This YouTube link has gone down, mate. The kings of Google, YouTube, are they're destroying us. So
that's a worry. That's a worry, considering the main population that are watching us have to actually get subtitles to translate. Hello to our friends in Calcutta, or my next door neighbours.
Giddy up, boys. How are you marking Gillan McLaughlin at the moment? He's got a tough assignment. Before I throw my thoughts out there, Shane, mate, how do you rate his performance and some of his execution? I'm sure he's got a lot of smarter men than us around him, giving a bit of guidance. But how do you rate his performance so far?
Mate, it's been fairly conservative. It was one of the challenging things when V'landys was coming in talking about rugby league doing all its things in advance of the AFL. There was obviously a fairly competitive attitude put forward by the NRL commission or ARL commission or whoever runs the game. But look, he's done okay. It's a particularly challenging experience right now, where the hub of your team or the hub of your group across the AFL community is based in a state affected by the potential second wave. So he's done okay. We're still running. If things change in the next couple of weeks, then that will be of concern. But right now, the business is still motoring. It's adapting. It's bringing us entertainment every week. So keep it up, Gil.
Fair enough. Whilst I check out these technical difficulties, Nick, let's throw it down to what's your take on? It was an idea brought up that the umpires have swallowed their whistles and they're not blowing any free kicks, or at least rewarding, if we make it a little bit more clearer, rewarding defensive efforts or tackles. What's your take on this? There's been two sides of the coin. Do you reward the player that's attacking the football, or is there more preference needed to be given to the defensive efforts of some of these players?
Well, there's a very simple answer to this. The common nufty, which we are 3 of, would say that the prior opportunity rule. But if you get the rule book out, the nufty compared to the person who's sat down to articulate the rules word for word, they actually don't align. So players are smart enough now to pick the footy up. I see Shane out the corner of my eye, and this is all happening in milliseconds. Do I try and get a handball off here? I see Shane there and go, I'm just going to take the tackle. And I think the players this day and age are more aligned to just take the tackle and get a stoppage, because then you can structure up and reset and all those great things that coaches, we've got 27 assistant coaches making sure this stuff happens. So that's why they're doing that. Where if you look at local footy, it's becoming a little bit more like that. But the player's more inclined of taking the tackler on. Therefore, there is prior opportunity. Therefore, they'll be holding the ball if he's caught, or the ball moves on. It's a more attractive brand to watch. But in short, the player's picking the footy up and he's taking the tackle, knowing that let's just get a stoppage and reset. So the umpires need to perhaps be a little bit harsher, to be more direct with your question, Nathan. A little bit harder on acknowledging when the player is just choosing to take it. But I like your analogy, Reed, the umpires swallowing, because many a times I've been saying that for years.
Yep. Almost at the time frame. Right, Nick, you're in the hot speak, brother. So what do you? Enough has been said about Sydney. There on the slide, half as deep as Adelaide. So 5-9-39, going down against the Western Bulldogs, who themselves are quite an interesting, entertaining enough team that I can't get a bloody read on. How did you watch this one? Again, are Sydney just in a lot of trouble at the moment?
Thursday night football, probably not geared for these two sides where they're at the moment. But just a couple of things that I picked up, and it's the obvious thing to say, but Bontempelli is a freak. But I'm not just going to hang it on that and look at his stats. I don't care what his stats were, didn't look at them. But he's a midfielder who kicks goals. Midfielders who kick goals are superstars. And that's where, at any level of football, if you get a midfielder who kicks goals, it's just something special. But I want to mention a Sydney player also, Tom Papley. Carlton went really hard for him over the summer. I think they'll go again. I'm not sure if he's going to go, if this might be the end of his contract or where that's at. But I think he kicked 4, help me, Shane, 4 or 5.
Kick 4, yep.
Yep. And he can play. He's tough. He can take a contested mark for a very small, he's a tiny little man. So Sydney, they're no good. We said that at the start of the year. The Dogs we thought would be thereabout. They play like it's a game you'd expect them to win, and they did.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, Shane, let's move on, brother. I think enough's been said about that one.
Absolutely.
Sydney in all sorts. But we'll bring you in first. I want to hear Nick's take on this one, obviously. But GWS, led by Green, getting the wood over the Pies there. So what are your thoughts here, mate? GWS, none of us picked it. And I think it was 13.8% of AFL fans picked it. So there you go.
Ooh, nice research there, Nathan.
You're
That's
very
good.
welcome.
Oh, mate, just a different side with the key ball movers around. So you got your Green, you got your Kelly, you got your Whitfield, these sort of young guns. You add that sort of quality into any team, and they're going to transition pretty heavily into a match-winning squad. So the tough match to watch, obviously, particularly seeing Jeremy Howe. That was just a tragic moment for the guy who's been a star for the Pies in the past couple of years since coming across from Melbourne. But yeah, Giants, you can't write them off. There's too much quality on that field. When their best 22 is on, they're a pretty lethal combination. So good match, tight match. Sympathies, Nico.
Thanks, Shane.
Nick, thoughts here, mate. We touched on. I think I may be a little bit too harsh, a critic when it comes to straight kicking. It's not like these guys are paid a lot of money. So Nick, Collingwood kicked great, they win the game. So is that a factor? Is it not?
I'll tell you why it's a factor. If and I did throw this out on one of my social media platforms. If one more person tells me that Braden Maynard is an elite kick or compares him to one of the greatest Collingwood footballers of all time in Darren Mullane, I did say that I'll make the recent world riots look like the Boxing Day sales. I've had a gutful of it. The bloke is a rugged battler. He's not an elite kick, so people just want to use headlines to pump stuff up. And we lost by 2 points, and 2 of his disgusting disposals led directly to Giants goals. So it's not very elite in my books, but I was upset by the loss. Obviously not as upset as Steele Sidebottom, who's gone out on the piss and forgotten where he was and won't play for the next month. So after pumping Steele up last week saying he's going to potentially play 500 AFL games.
He might be playing 496, Nico.
496 it'll be for Steele after getting a 4-week ban for his phone battery going dead, disorientated after visiting Daniel Wells's house. Not quite sure what activity was happening there.
Half naked, was it? Who hasn't experienced that? Come on.
This is the concern I'm talking about, boys. Like, I'd be more worried if I said, geez, our next month's tough, but I don't know what our next month is. I know what's happening. We're playing Essendon on Friday night, and after that, I could be looking forward to the Melbourne Stars 27-game T20 season. Who knows?
All right, let's move on. West Coast, the boys out west, the ones that want to go home, struggling as usual, really. Nico, you're in the hot seat, mate. Port Adelaide just more than getting the job done, kicking pretty average these days. I seen an interesting stat. I think it was on the couch, actually, the boys over there. I think Revolt said it was 48%. No, it's 46% of shots inside of 50 are going through. That's the highest stat of any team, and that's from GWS, which means every single team in the AFL today, currently playing this week, last week, all of it, over half of their kicks are going either, well, not between the middle six where it counts. So, mate, Port Adelaide up and about, flying at the moment. Do you see him? Where do you see him back end of the year?
For any of our international viewers, what Nathan just said then was that kicking's under 50%. That was good. That was good. I liked it. No, it was, when you watch that one back, you'll enjoy it. Port Adelaide are the real deal, and they need to be, because every year they have big slogans and catch cries and whatever. West Coast are a bit tired and whatnot, but as I said, the back end of the year, I told you last week, could be predominantly at Subiaco or wherever they play now. Port Adelaide, Charlie Dixon. Yeah, the big fella. Former Redland Bomber, the boy from Cairns in Queensland. He's playing some footy, isn't he? And he's probably the only forward at the moment in the competition who's standing out. Like, it's all 1 and 2 goals. Like someone said the other day, I think he can probably kick 25 goals and win the Coleman this year. He'll kick more than 25, but yeah, it was just a game, this one here, that Port Adelaide probably put West Coast back in the box people thought they might be in after Adam Simpson's comments the other week.
Yeah, fair enough. Shano, just on the Coleman, our boy Charlie Cameron, I think, sitting in second. Is he sitting on 9 goals, I think, at the moment?
Yeah, you hurt me on the weekend. I had a little multi with him into kicking 5+. But anyway, I won't talk about gambling because it's they're only do Monopoly money. It's fine. So
it's not that.
He kicked 6, didn't he?
No.
Yeah,
He
6 behinds.
You're talking about Cameron?
Yeah.
No,
Charlie.
Lockie. Anyway, Lockie Neal kicked 6 behinds and Hugh kicked 1 goal 5. But anyway, we're not talking about that game yet, are we?
No.
Okay. Good. Anyway.
Yeah, go on then. No. Yeah, let's talk
No,
about your boys.
go-
Jump into your boys, mate. The Saints.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Getting it done.
Oh, hang on. Oh, shivers. I'm getting a bit hot here. Get to the boys. They were excellent.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh,
Goodness
mate,
gracious.
hats off.
Jump in then, mate. Are they? Hang on.
Don't say the R word. Don't say the RD words. Real deal.
RD.
But
real deal.
and top four contenders. Top 4 contenders.
Top 8. Top 8, Nathan. Yeah, we're 2 and 2.
Well, that's
we're
a
2
win.
and 2. We've
who
we were good.
Higher, Saints or Gold Coast?
Oh, Saints. Yeah, absolutely.
No. Gold Coast will finish higher than St Kilda.
No.
All right, a little wager for our end of season trip.
Mate,
We're having the end of season trip.
I love the idea of an end of season trip.
I know where we're going though.
But yeah, you just think of unless you want to come up with a wager now.
No.
Yeah, end of year season trip. If anyone of our fans wants in, $5,000, and you can be a part of our end of season trip. But
absolutely
in Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's it, Shano.
Yep.
Saints kicking well and truly straight, and just destroying Richmond Tigers in the end there, mate. So well done.
They were good. They were excellent, the boys. I was really impressed. And look, it's rare that as a St Kilda supporter that you hats off to our recruiting team. But
it was the Tiger. It was the former Tiger. It was the former Tiger, wasn't it, Shane?
We've done well. Brad Hill is going to be another All-Australian wingman. He is an absolute jet. Just makes the game look so much more fun to the eye. He's just a star. Dougal Howe's doing well down back. Paddy Ryder's obviously got a bit of soreness for the 2nd week in a row, so he's having a little bit of a rest. Zach Jones a little bit tired, but overall, yep, the boys were great. Tigers are.
You're not going to mention Butler
last year.
Sorry, mate. I've dangled the meat in front of the lion. Dan Butler. You're not going to mention him?
Don't have to. All-Australian forward pocket. He's incredible. Adds so much spark up front. Just a very very classy being. I can't believe that. I mean, it's what happens in premiership teams is that you're top 30. There's always a squeeze for those spots, but he is dominating. He's been excellent.
Where are you putting Richmond, Shane? It ain't early in the season anymore. They need a win. They've got a lot of talent, so I think it would be, ride them off at your peril. But they need a win, obviously, boys. So, Shane, what's your thoughts on
top eight? Should be top 6. Yeah, I wouldn't be overly concerned. They were outside the 8 in round 14 or whatever it was last year and went on a streak. There is a lot of talent there, mate. You can't deny it. So they'll kick into gear in their Perth hub or wherever they go.
Yeah, fair enough.
You told us they wouldn't lose a game, Shane, in the very first episode of this. You said they were unbeatable. No one would beat them.
That's right.
I told everyone that I reckon they'd lack the hunger. And if anyone's seen Jack Riewoldt play or speak, if there's ever a poster boy for that statement, it's him. He doesn't give a shit at all. Has no interest in it whatsoever. And if I was a betting man, if Richmond have to hub, you watch the headline, Riewoldt stays home, which might actually benefit their forward line structure at the moment.
What about Koch?
He might, Koch has got about 600 kids, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Jimmy Neutron, Cochin. Jimmy.
Anyway, get us back on track, Nathan.
All right, Nico, jump in, brother. You love a chat. So Essendon, almost stealing it there from the Blues in the end. But, mate, I don't know, man. Jump in.
I'm really excited for Carlton. I think I said this last week. I'm probably going to be on autopilot from last week. But it's good for football when Carlton are winning games under the salary cap. So obviously a lot of their success have come with brown paper bags and cheating. So it's good that they're now clearly being watched. They've got themselves together and they're winning games of football. So to probably the Sydney Roosters, I'd say that. The Sydney Roosters of the AFL, for those people who are watching us from anywhere in New South Wales, I suppose, or Queenslanders who want to try and find a comparison. It was good for them to win. I'm not going to mention any players because, to be honest, I didn't watch the game.
Fair enough. You probably watched the highlights. What happened at the end, mate? Eddie's confused. I'm confused. What was the rule?
I did see this. Now, you realise that any time there's something of conjecture, the AFL, it's the same as every major sporting organisation. They go behind the scenes and they work on something in the wording of it to make it look like whatever happened was right. So they said, to the letter of the law, Eddie, he came into the protected area prior to the umpire actually calling it. So the player had played on, and then the umpire hadn't called it yet. So he paid a 50-metre penalty. The problem was that the Carlton player who was standing on the mark kept retreating. The umpire pointed at the mark, and then the Carlton player kept retreating, which gave him about an extra 11 metres, I think, Fox Footy. Slobbo and Jared told us the other night. So it was about 62-metre penalty, not a 90-metre. So, Eddie, big shorts, big exaggeration. But then Townsend had the opportunity, and you're directly in front, just on 50 metres out, playing 16-minute quarters, and you don't make the distance. Yeah, that's park footy stuff. You kick that. I'm 35 and I still kick it 60.
I'm 60 on the left, mate. Nick, I've seen it. I've witnessed it.
No.
Fresh hamstrings.
Every time I buy a pair of boots, I should be getting half price because I'm not sure why they give me a left one. It's just not required. It's not required.
Fair enough. Moving on to my boys, the Gold Coast Suns, mate. They are flying at the moment. Freo, personally, I thought it was a great test for them and flying marks. But I just want to point out something that I've seen that I really enjoyed. It was Sexton in the last quarter, who does love a goal, but he's had the ball coming in and he's just left it, shepherded it through. The ball goes through for a goal. How many times this year already have we seen players take a mark? It was about 50-50. Could have shepherded, the ball goes through, take a mark and step back and spray it wide. So great game awareness there from Sexton, and still in the hunt for the Coleman. But Rao also doing well. I think a couple of goals. And King, I reckon King, if he hasn't already, he will have a cult following bigger than the Big O in Brisbane. But Shano, my boy's obviously going to finish above St Kilda.
Oh,
It
it was a classic. It was a classic. You've obviously they beat Fremantle by 13 points, and Fife was down for quite a significant period. So, yeah, it was workmanlike. It was okay. Ralph earned in the Brownlow again, which is fair enough. He's a star.
Do you know what it is, Shano? Do you know what it is?
Talk to me.
Great time to come in. This is, and I think I said this, Nathan, when the Gold Coast had a couple of really big wins, this is the sort of game, this is the test. It's when you have a couple of good wins, it's how you go again. And it's a game where they went in favourites, and they won it. It wasn't necessarily the best brand of football, the best, across the board in terms of performance they've had this year. But that's the sign of a good football club. And I'm really excited for the Gold Coast Suns. I said it last week. I'm really excited. Fremantle, they're playing better football than they were under Ross Lyon. It's a little bit more, kicking 8 goals, 3 in the conditions with the shorter minutes. Imagine if Ross Lyon was coaching him now. It'd be kick 1 goal and that just holds.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm excited for you boys. And the Ginger, he's a gun, isn't he? He's just something special. And don't compare Big King, who will probably end up at the St Kilda Football Club, to the Big O. What is the Big O's actual name? The Big 46 for the Lions.
Oscar.
He gave away. This is the next game, so we might just move to it. But he gave away some of the worst free kicks in ruck contests I've ever seen, and that's inclusive of back in the day your Trent Noble types, your Cameron Woods. Trying to think, your Christopher Scapes, these types of guys who just tried to do their craft.
Jeffrey Gibbons.
Your Zingermans, Jeffrey Gibbons, there's another one. He gave away some free kicks that kept, I know that they won by 30 odd points in the end, but they kept Adelaide in the game at the times he was giving those free kicks away. So I sort of had visions of, remember that when Buckley grabbed Jared Witts on the boundary line a few years ago?
Yeah.
And got stuck into him? Because Ruckman are dumb. So for those people in Europe, Ruckman are the tallest guy in the middle that basically doesn't get a possession for hitting it down to little guys to then do.
But the goalkeepers of our game.
Yeah.
The big dribblers in the different shirts.
They're dumb. There's not a lot of oxygen that gets up there. And sorry, that's my thoughts on the Brisbane Adelaide game. Segueing from
Charlie getting high.
Yeah.
Cameron getting up.
He's fun, isn't he? He's fun to watch.
He's very fun. Nico, not a fan of his post-game celebrations, but look, it's his signature. Why not? But if you can follow that, mate, one of those a game, we'd be laughing. But mate, I might jump in here and give my take on the scoreline. It was mainly the pundits, and Shane, you touched on it earlier. That's why I jumped in and said, no, enough of that. But I wasn't a big fan of everyone, and I think Lenny, to be fair, I think I caught one of your tweets, mate, calling it out. All these punters saying they lost money on the back of individual Lions players, poor kicking. Mate, that's gambling. If you're going to get amongst it, don't blame the player, mate. If you can't afford it, don't fucking put the bet on. But that being said, Crows are winless.
Yeah, gamble responsibly.
Crows are winless, but the Lions kicking 10-23. Now, they ended up getting up by quick math, about 37, give or take. Mate, that should have been a 100-point flogging. Now, they are competing for a top 4 spot this year. I think their stretch target should be to finish either top or second. Top 4 is where they should finish. In games like this, when they can increase their percentages, mate, I think that's as close to a loss that you'll get from a win. But harsh, perhaps. But Shano, mate, I had to stick this one.
You respect Adelaide, doggy. Jesus.
Well, Big Texie had a good quarter. His third quarter was excellent. That'll do me for Adelaide. Lions, ugly, just shooting from everywhere. Neil and McGluggy just went ballistic. Who cares? Yeah, who cares? Cuppers. Adelaide showed a little bit of fight in that third quarter, which was refreshing. So it's the first bit of the white flag's been up the entire time they've been here in Queensland. So Lions moving on, and big matches ahead for them.
Can I jump on the Kane Corns bandwagon and say Texas done? He's done. His first effort at the ball. He fumbled. I know it was damp. There's but he looked very timid and patted it 3 or 4 times. And there's an old saying that if you want a pat, buy yourself a dog. And he did it 3 or 4 times to start the game. And that's the former leader of that football club. I reckon, I don't agree with a lot of things Kane Corn says, but I think the Texan, if Adelaide are looking to rebuild, they're probably going to try and ship him off somewhere at the end of the year. And if no one wants him, it could be curtains for the Texan.
If Josh Jenkins gets another club, then you'd be confident that as a minimum wage player, that Tex could go to a team, a Greater Western Sydney, for example, to someone like that. As that.
Yeah, Tex doesn't. I completely agree that Walker, you take Walker over Jenkins, but I think that Jenkins was desperate to go anywhere. No one wanted him. It was the Dangerfield factor, wasn't it? Did Dangerfield mates with him and then got him in there at Geelong? The big Texan, I reckon he's the type of guy that just sails into the sunset and, maybe do a podcast or something. Who knows?
Could be our first guest. We'll reach out again. There's been a couple of affirmative replies so far, so we'll chase them up.
Well, Magic Mike Sheen's looking for a gig.
Still waiting on Matty Rowell to hit me back. Slid into his DMs again over the weekend.
Have you slid into a few? I did notice some correspondence with Tom Hawkins.
Not yet, but
you had some correspondence with Tom Hawkins' wife during the week. Did you realise that?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, right.
And that's okay. She responded. She's obviously a big fan of the Up and About podcast. And hello to Mrs. Hawkins at. I think they're where do they live, Shane? Somewhere Geelong, sort of St Albans.
Corio.
Corio, maybe Colac-ish, whatever.
Anyway, Geelong 7-5.
Good segue to the Cats.
Melbourne 6-8-44. So again, mate, Melbourne kick straight. They take this one, but Geelong. Where you guys got Geelong? I had them top 4 with all these shortened quarters and whatnot. But that'll be a decent test for my boys next weekend. I think I'm going to tip them. But
we group
not really sharp.
Let's group the last 2 games there, Nathan, because they're exactly the same. The better teams got out and they almost got overrun, but they didn't. The Hawks almost got overrun. The D's came back at the Cats, but the better teams got over them. I don't know about the. There's not many teams putting the throat on the opposition in the second half. They're just sort of dancing around and getting the job done, but
you can't say that, Shane.
Okay. Oh.
You can't. Yeah.
Oh God.
We're not live, so we'll edit that out, Nathan. But just to sort of wrap the round up. One of our loyal followers, Lenny Phillips, has just shot one through saying, "How about Tex Walker as a replacement for Mason Cox at Collingwood?" Lenny, 2 words: Quinton Lynch, and we can move on from that.
Lovely. All right. Well, should we get the tips in? I actually had a look last night at where we're sitting, and I might just save that one, put a little post up in the next couple of days. It's a lot.
Have I tipped a winner?
Yeah, you've tipped. You can confidently say you've tipped a winner. Yes.
Yeah, Collingwood. Yeah. But I've got to be on more than one because Collingwood have won a couple of games.
You're right. You are on more than one. I can tell you are less than 10. If that helps. But Nick, let's start with yourself, mate. You seem to be tipping extraordinarily awful. So we've got Carlton v St Kilda.
Carlton versus St Kilda. This is the type of game you'd want to really get all your good mates around to your place for some Mexican Marvel Stadium Thursday night football. Deep down, I think it's the sort of game where you'd want to tip St Kilda, but I'll tip Carlton.
My boys.
Shano.
My boys, yeah. Under the roof.
All right, Shane, sell me in 10 seconds. Why should I pick St Kilda?
Marvel Stadium in the lounge room. Quick footy. That's our go. Brad Hill, 31 touches.
Nathan, did that sound like a response to It sounded like a response to a Cluedo murder mystery.
Professor Plum,
Oh, mate,
lounge room.
yeah, I'm terrible at Cluedo. Nico, we'll skip you.
Professor
You're
Hill
going
with
to
the
go
inside 50s. Sorry. Yeah, Collingwood will beat us. Yep.
Yep, 70 plus. They'll smash them.
70 plus.
Well,
Oh, Jesus, fair enough.
it's a total points.
I'll join you, boys.
We'll win by 3 goals.
Nick, West Coast, Sydney.
Jeez, this is another one. What's this one? 1:45 on Saturday. What are we doing at 1:45 on Saturday, boys? So we sit in front of this one.
Put the slow cooker on, mate. This is going to be tough to watch.
It's West Coast last hurrah on the coast. They haven't jagged one yet, have they, up here? You got to go West Coast. Sydney are terrible, and West Coast on paper, which paper doesn't play so often. They got to win West Coast, surely. McGovern back.
Shane.
Eagles. Yep, Eagles.
I'm going to join you, boys. For no other reason than it's lonely. All right, Geelong, Gold Coast. I'm going my boys, and I think they will win by 3 goals. Shane.
The puss for Gary and for Joel. I think they'll do a good job. I know Johnny Sam Newman doesn't rate the whole club increase in their performance around some of these recognised games, but 300 and 350 for some of their favourite sons. SONS. Go the Cats.
Nico.
I love the way the Suns play footy, mate, but I reckon that they'll have their first loss since round 1. The Cats will do it here, whether it's for G. Ablett or Jay Selwood. I just think that they're at GMHBA and they'll get up.
Fair enough. Flying high at MDMA Stadium. Nico, Western Bulldogs, North Melbourne.
Bulldogs, North Melbourne. So this game here could be pitted as the COVID Cup because both regions are severely hampered by the coronavirus situation. So hopefully none of their players live in the region. North Melbourne, they're hard to read at the moment, but if Bulldogs play the way they did against the Swans and North Melbourne play like they did in the last quarter against Hawthorn, it'll be a great game. Bulldogs just.
If Cunnington plays, if Kangas win, I think he is essential for their midfield group, particularly against a fairly classy opposition, 4 or 5. So Cunnington plays, Kangas up.
We don't play what ifs and tips here, brother. So you're going to pick Western Bulldogs and North Melbourne. I need a
go the doggies. Fourth.
I'm going to go. This is probably by some distance here, the match of the round, Brisbane, Port Adelaide. I think Brisbane will beat Port Adelaide. Shane, who will win this game?
Power. I think they're really enjoying themselves up here, and they're on a roll. Certainly in the match of the round by a significant stretch. So Power.
Nick?
I can hear the great Mark Choco Williams, the premiership coach of 2004. The words are ringing in my ears. That sweet day I was in a Redland Bay garage watching the Lions finally lose a grand final. And Choco Williams grabbed his tie and he started doing the old choking symbol and he jumped up on the stand and said, "Alan Scott, you were wrong." Nothing to do with what I'm tipping, but just a story for our viewers. And Port Adelaide will win.
For our Nepalese viewers, it was an interesting part of our history. 2004 YouTube, check it out.
I'm on holidays. Can you guys tell?
No, not at all. Nick, Adelaide v Fremantle.
Christ.
This is going.
Oh.
Wow.
If you haven't seen AFL before, for our Nepalese fans, don't watch this game. Please.
No.
We're better than this.
Go back to the question you had earlier in the viewing, Nathan, when you said, "How's Gillan McLaughlin going?" Do you reckon he's sitting there going, 105 Sunday? Can we hide this somewhere else? Can we bring it forward to 10:30? Can we put it up against Sports Sunday on Channel 9, where the guy who wears the red pirate scarf just talks shit.
Big Fitzy.
Fitzy. Jeez. You guys flip a coin.
I'm gonna go Fremantle.
I'll go the Crows for a bit of variety, but you look at West Coast Sydney on Saturday afternoon into Adelaide Freo on Sunday afternoon. There might be a bit of family time. There might be a little bit of family time, or maybe some additional punting time for those people that have those degenerate issues.
Adelaide.
Adelaide. And shout out to our e-games players as well. E-sports, rather. All right, the boys that go on Adelaide, fair enough. Melbourne v Richmond. Surely the Tigers have to get up here, surely. Nico.
You'd think so, Nathan. I'm gonna tip the Tigers on trust. And this, again, could be the last time both these sides are playing at the MCG for some time. So, Tigers just.
Shane?
Tigers. Barn dog. Yep. Tigers by a couple. Melbourne are still pretty capable. They've got a pretty solid back line, but they lack in some other departments. But Tigers in a fairly scrappy.
Yeah, fair enough. Shane, we'll finish off with you, mate. GWS versus Hawthorn. This is quite an interesting game. I think the Hawks just starting to get it together, and the GWS obviously doing enough. So where are you putting your tip this one? Yeah,
Giants in the Johnny Patton Cup. Absolutely, I think they'll take a lot of confidence out of beating the previously undefeated Pies last week. So I would imagine they'll continue on.
I think this will be. You were right, Nathan, saying that the Brisbane Potato games match of the round. This is probably just a level below that, but I think it's gonna be a ripper. So Sunday night, you'll definitely be in front of the telly, do the family thing in the afternoon, as Shane said, and I think the Giants will just get up. I reckon it'll be real close. I reckon Hawthorn will still be in it with a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nico. GWS for myself. So we're going to work out these tips and put them up. Nick, you are struggling, but all right. Let's finish off with our 5th favorite segment. Our Nepalese friends. We got a segment called the Short Pass. Nicholas, where are you giving your short pass to today?
I'm going to get a little bit personal this week, Nathan and Shane and our loyal viewers. It's Men's Mental Health Week last week or this week, and I've engaged in my line of work an organisation called the Resilience Project. So I hope you can see that there. Fantastic organisation who just basically get you to focus on 3 positive things a day. So I think as blokes, we really struggle to talk about where we're at with things, and often mask it by probably too much of this here. So gratitude, empathy, mindfulness, the Resilience Project, they're doing wonderful things. So check them out. I'm not paid to do that. I buy all their stuff. So get around them.
Shano, where are you getting your short pass today?
Yeah, look, tough to fire that. Well done, Nico. Very significant message. So I was actually looking through a variety of leaflets and booklets that I've got here. So we've got the Chinese menu, we've got the Thai Malaysian, we've got the a couple of photos and a couple of receipts. I
hope they're restaurants. I really hope they're restaurants.
Wow.
Sorry.
Look, no, mate. Honestly, I can't fly that. It's a powerful message. So revert back. Absolutely, boys and girls and men and young ladies, talk, open up. Oh dear. Anyway, Nathan, over to you, mate. Finish this up.
Thanks for that, Shane. That was brilliant. Look, I'm going to join Shane there. Short pass. Nick, I'll give you the short pass there, brother. Mental health doesn't get spoken about anywhere near enough amongst men's circles. So I'm not across the Resilience program. Is that what they're called?
Project.
It's like the Resilience Project. But from what Nick's just given the little elevator picture, I think they're doing great stuff, and more attention needs to be given towards men's mental health. So, men, let's open up a little bit more. Nick, do you want to put that book up again and round us out, giving a shout out to Resilience Project, and we will see you next week.
The Resilience Project. Look after yourself, guys, and it's just a fun podcast with three blokes chewing the fat. And if we're giving some people some positivity on their Wednesday night, fantastic. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Put that on your little clip, Barndog. Thanks, guys.
Good evening, Nico.
All right.